I think I gotta warn you about. He's here.
In light of the recently revealed Season 2, I thought I'd take it upon myself to finally make a video about a show called Wolf King. And if you've never heard of it, don't worry, because it has less marketing and a fandom than any film I've ever seen. As in there was next to nothing. And it's why I'm making this video, because I wanted to bring awareness to it, as it's a wonderfully animated show with a creative world, and while it's not a perfect show by any means, it's still an enjoyable watch. So let's get this started.
What was that? Stupid boy.
Before I get to my main point about the show, I kind of just wanted to talk about it a bunch, then just go into the point of this video. Anyways, let's crack out some criticisms first. I don't really have a problem with how fast the show goes, but more the dynamics. The start of the show does feel a bit fast when it comes to settling down the strained tension between brothers and parents. Immediately, they rush for the connections to Drew's family in town without really getting to know the people that he's a monster. That's not to say they don't do justice showing some bond between his brother, but the town is really just a location that we know nothing about, and we only really get to see the place in depth after the Lions invade. Even Drew's crush is killed the next time we see her, and there isn't much weight to it because we know nothing about her either. I honestly can't even recall her name. Drew says he knows the ins and outs of his town and displays how it's changed, but we never really see him go this way.
Go right! Are you sure? I know this place like the back of my fence.
I think that's just what most animated shows that have limited episodes are missing. I'm rewatching Young Justice, and the first season moves the story and character development in such a really great way.
Quit touching yourself!
They form a team, point out the flaws over the coming episodes, and even when that issue is fixed, they still have a lot of room to grow. You get a sense how varying they are, and an additional episode showing off the town would have been great, if not even just 5 minutes. This does also add into the fact I was disappointed that Whitley isn't with the trio during their small adventure. Okay, I get it. She's discovered the queen there, and she was further forced into the marriage she didn't want to be in. Important story beats that heavily influence the end of the episodes and where they need to go, and at the very least Season 2 has them together, so that's a good thing. It's just a shame she doesn't spend the rest of the episodes with them, considering she was the first one to find Drew and lead him to her home. And while I'm on the topic of Whitley, female warlords don't get the same forms the men do, which really sucks. They get glowing eyes at most and some additional strength and speed, but not the same transformations. I'm unsure if it's just a season 1 thing or if it's explained why in the books, but it's just unfortunate only the men get these animal abilities. I hope it does change, but it is a shame. I also forgot to include the story of this show. Look, I'm strapped for time and I don't want to spoil everything, give me a break. The story revolves around Drew and him thinking his power is a curse, as he struggles to control this power against his friend and being traumatized seeing his mother die. So if you like shows with traumatized teens, this is the show for you. There are other side plots as well, like the bears trying to help Drew reclaim the throne, the bond between Drew and Hector growing stronger to give impact to the ending, and much more. Estranged family, a pompous bratty girl character turned into a more likable character, and much more. And to add this here as well, I do think the women aren't exclusively held back in their form, since there's variations of the Warlord. There's the eyes, just the animal hands, and the anther animal forms. However, there are also law to embrace their animal sides. But there's also characters who might act like their animals, such as Van Morton, who acts more like a rat than his brother.
You know, I never could tell you brothers apart. Well, that makes things easier.
I think they just held back other designs for the meantime because they weren't needed for the scenes, but it does still suck regardless. Because the transformations in general look really good. I do wish Drew's wolf form had a tail, which is weird they don't design the shark or wolf with one, but give the rat one. But I also love the music for his transformations, which is great as well, which feels like he has no control. It kind of reminds me of the Prowler theme, and I love the energy for these powers, which reminds me of this effect they use for Megatron and Transformers 1. All that aside, I love the designs for each location, and they feel infinitely different from each other, and it just hammers in the dictation the Lions desire. Plus the various character designs for warlords and random creatures that are so unique to look at. And because I can't really ignore the obvious for much longer, but the animation is absolutely stunning for this show. It's a show that uses the style of 3D, but it makes it look 2D and in stop motion. Like, I couldn't tell if I was staring at another Spider-Verse inspired feat of animation with its frame rate, or a Leica inspired show, so it's that good. Also, I just want to say that they picked a fantastic voice cast, and I've never heard of any of them in any role they've been in. This is probably one of the first times I've never recognized a voice actor. Okay, the King Lion is fucking Galactus, what? And while I could probably go on, I've procrastinated so much. So, I need to get this video done quickly. Now, why did I actually make this video? Well, even though my videos on newer shows, or games, or films, don't really gain much traction besides if it's a popular character, I made this video to bring light to this show, albeit maybe too late. Wolf King is a Netflix show, and just like Gentry Chow, it had a few trailers and nothing major in terms of marketing, leaving people to not really check it out. I'm not even kidding, I found this show 2 months randomly when I went on the Netflix that one time. And while Gentry got a boost in a fandom, it didn't last long, and it lost more from people thinking they would get connected with all these characters all over again for a cancelled show, and guess what happened? Also, I should note this isn't me preferring one show or the other. I loved Gentry Chow vs. the Underworld. However, the story, the animation, the relationships, and what could have been the lore, Netflix. However, the difference between the two shows is people on Twitter noticed Gentry and promoted it, while Wolf King, it's not even seen. It's happened a lot back then, and it still shouldn't be a fear going into 2025. Then again, Invincible fans complain constantly, despite how lucky those ungrateful cunts are to get an entire comic adaptation every fucking year, and then are just surprised when the animation in 1 year isn't as good as it should have been. So I thought, even if it was just a couple hundred people who watched my video, maybe they want to check out the show and promote it as well. I don't want another animated adult comedy made by the Big Mouth creators. No, seriously, I saw people redesigning these fucking characters and giving the show free publicity. Please, fucking stop. And to put it into perspective to just how unknown the show is, as of late, the only people to really review the actual series are the YouTubers Smarty Pants, Cartoon Universe, Justin Watches Movies, and maybe a few others, while Dad's reviews had talked about the trailer. There's reactions, fake news, and clips of various moments, but it's obviously not the best show on the face of the planet, but it's a good watch when you have the time for it. Especially with the second season on September 11th. So if you can, watch the show and make it known to Netflix that people want this show out there. And if not this show, but any original show, because despite K-pop Demon Hunters being the most watched film this year, they're doing jack shit with the IP. Seriously, 3 movies, a TV show, a live show adaptation. I don't fucking care, just do something. Like really, the view count is only 20 million off Wednesday season 1, despite having less hours and being an original IP. There might be a chance to end this cycle. Also, can I say something? But I am surprised, hurt even, the show didn't get more popular with the furry community. Am I being, what's the word, presumptuous? There is literally buff anthros, and I don't mean the teenagers. I mean Vega the shark isn't even wearing a shirt, yet you guys focus more on that shitty big mouth animal show?
These moths don't just grow on trees, you know. Well, they do, but...
Bear it out.